Okay, let's go ahead and call this Board of Supervisors meeting to order. I hope everything's going well. And I've asked Supervisor David Gomez to lead us in the pledge.
Please join. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Supervisor Gomez. We'll now go to agenda item 1B, call to the public. Is there anyone that would like to address the board in call to the public? Mr. Cervantes.
Good morning, gentlemen. My name is Daniel Cervantes, Clifton resident, Greene County resident. I live in a rental home located here in Clifton, 495 Prince Street. While I cannot speak in behalf of my landlord who lives and works in Morenci, I do know he does pay some kind of property taxes for the house that he owns in Clifton. I feel he would be surprised that at least he would be paying for some of the $300,000 that the Greene County is saddled with paying for the lawsuit filed against our current sheriff Tim Sumner, filed against the Greene County or against our supervisors during our last supervisor meeting. Vice Chairman David Gomez and member Ron Campbell were physically present in person, and Chairman Richard Lunt made a virtual appearance from Florida. I believe he might have been in some place called Mar-a-Lago. But I'm not sure.
That's a good one, Daniel. That's where you were at.
Guantanamo.
Everything went well, and I'm proud to be a Clifton Greene County resident. And I still pray for our current sheriff, Tim Sumner, and for his family. Thank you so much, gentlemen, for letting me speak.
Thank you.
And thank you for letting us know where he was at.
Yeah. Anyone else would like to address the board and call the public? Seeing none, we'll go to agenda item 2. The Board of Supervisors will convene as the Board of Directors of the Greene County Public Health Service Districts, and after the order of business, will reconvene as the Board of Supervisors. A, consent agenda.
So move that we approve the consent agenda as posted. I'll second that.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, we'll proceed to vote. All those in favor of the motion, please indicate by saying aye. Aye. Motion passes. We are now convened as the Board of Supervisors, and the Board of Supervisors will convene as the Board of Directors of the Greene County Flood Control District. And after the order of business, we'll reconvene as the Board of Supervisors. A, consent agenda.
So move that we approve the consent agenda as posted. I'll second that.
Have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, we'll proceed to vote. All those in favor of the motion, please indicate by saying aye.
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 Motion passes. We are now convened as the Board of Supervisors, and we will go to agenda item 4. Sabrina Dumas, County Librarian, and welcome.
Thank you. Thank you. It's nice to be here. So, Supervisor Lunt, Supervisor Gomez, Supervisor Campbell. So I do want to I'm Sabrina Dumas, the County Librarian, but I do want to take just a moment because change has been the biggest part of our year. And I want to do a recognition for the former librarian, Karen Suhi. So she has retired. She served the position for about 10 years. And her dedication to the position and her positive impact for our communities is what I want to recognize. And we all truly appreciate her work. And with that, we wish her a very happy retirement. And from what I'm here, it's going well. So wasn't real sure what I'm supposed to let you know, so I'm just gonna highlight a little bit out of the report. So, well, thank you for your match funds for the SGIA funds that we received from the state library. That SGIA funds is about 30% of our working budget, so both of those funding sources are exactly what we need, so thank you. Other funding we received from the state library would be LSTA, so that's your Library Science and Technology Act, and that funding comes down to us. So as county librarian, I administer, or Karen got this one going, but it was enjoy the stream at the libraries. And this was where we brought in performers to our county, so our citizens could enjoy these opportunities. And we had a wonderful variety. So it was like the BMX, you know, the bicycle guys. And when they told me they were going to do that in the gym in Duncan, I was like, on your gym floor. And they said, no, it's perfect timing because we're getting a new gym floor. So that was indoors and kind of like perfect timing. We did have a balloon artist come in. He went to both schools, great attendance, and that's incredible. If you ever get a chance to see Rick, the cowboy balloon guy, I highly recommend him. We had a juggler come in, a magician, geologist. We had medieval knights perform. We had Michael Albert, he's an artist and he does pop art, which is this is his profession. He cuts up cereal boxes and he makes these beautiful collages. So I would like to give you guys one of those. I didn't bring it with me because I didn't know if it was okay, but it's the preamble to the Constitution. So may I give that to you? Yeah. And then we had an anime artist come in. He went to the art school or to our local school art classes and taught them how to do anime art. We had pop-up art studios where any of the participants created dragon eyes. They sculpted them. They're pretty neat. Painting, felting, they learned how to do felting, which they took this little pile of wool and turned it into a little otter holding a seashell. It was great. And then the taiko drumming are these huge Japanese drums, and they went over to the band class there at Fairbanks, and they're massive drums, and you just hit those and you could just hear it. It was exciting. And then foam fun was probably the funnest thing for all the kids to do. So imagine when your washer overflows and there's bubbles everywhere. The whole park is filled with bubbles and they're just out there. Yeah. So a lot of unique experience was brought to our county. So another one is called Pages for the Ages. This also LSTA funding. And it was a writer's youth group. And so coming soon are 9 books that these youth have written, illustrated, printed, and now they're putting them in a binder, like published. So those will be soon. And the idea with that is those books will be available for checkout at our libraries. And then we have another grant, Free Gal Music app. So with your library card, you can download that app, type in your library card number, you will be able to stream music and create a playlist. So that's pretty neat. And then the state library gave us extra funding for our online audiobooks and ebooks. So we've done really well there. And then, so the Clifton Library, in addition to all of this, was able to get a grant for virtual reality headsets. And that was to introduce a new technology to our community. And that's been really popular. It was a bit of a learning curve to work out all the bugs on them, but I invite all of you to come up and give that a try. And, but the first thing everybody has to do is call First Steps, and that's a safety and learn how to use the device. And then, you know, you do it right because they're dancing with the robots. So it's pretty fun. And then I was also able to get a grant from the Center for Rural Health. And this was to provide CPR classes and first aid classes for our community members. So that was really neat. Duncan also got one of the grants from Rural Health, but it was to provide a Feed the Body, Feed the Mind book club. And that was really neat because she had a chef come in. And so whatever country the book was from, they did a dish, food from that. So it was kind of a whole thing. So we actually got to try squid ink pasta. It's good. It's black. It's good. I didn't find any kind of weird taste or anything, but it was good. Took me a minute to, but it was all right. So another incredible thing that happened was FMI sent their shared services electric crew up here to the Clifton Library and did an in-kind contribution and upgraded the electrical on that building. So the reason that happened was last summer, we were doing kids cooking and we had finally convinced all the kids to cut up the raw chicken because they didn't want to touch that. And so they were like, okay, I'm going to do it. And they got them all cut up, you know, and then somebody hit the microwave and it knocked out the power, but it didn't throw a breaker switch. So then we knew, okay, there's a bigger problem here than whatever. So they were able to come up and help us with that. And then this year, the kids got to cook again and they got to do enchiladas. So it was great. So, all right. So with our website, we've had 3,287 page views. Our Facebook followers are at 937. We have to increase all of that. Our libraries, we have three. I think everybody knows we have the Blue Library, the Clifton Library, and Duncan Library. So they do serve as public venues. So there were 82 meetings throughout this past year with 471 people attending those meetings. Countywide, we had 349 programs. Attendees were 5,908. Volunteers, 171, 488 hours of volunteer hours. So 13,108 items were checked out of our libraries. We have 12,351 library users. So that's what I was going to let you know. If there's any questions or comments, anything.
I have a comment.
Yes.
You know, based on what you came in saying that you've had just change. My God, I think you've had more than change, and you've been very involved. I mean, you took off right where Karen left off. Karen did an excellent job at that library, and Sabrina, I need to applaud you for, you know, behalf of the board for everything that you've done and everything that you're doing. It's amazing. I mean, you don't miss a beat, and it seems like you have everybody involved, from all these folks you brought in to the county and everything.
Yes, yes.
Good for you. Good for you.
Well,
Thank you for everything that you do.
Well, thank you for that. Yes.
Yeah, I just want to echo those comments that you're doing an outstanding job, and really your focus has been on the kids. I mean, hearing, you know, all the kids have been involved with, I think is amazing, and that's what the library is there for, right?
That's what we need.
Minds.
Yes.
So that's wonderful that you're doing. That's a great job.
Absolutely.
Yeah, Karen Shuey did an outstanding job, but you're gonna do an outstanding job also. But thank you for your service. Thank the library directors
Oh,
from the
yes.
Blue, from Clifton, from Duncan, and also the board. And then all the volunteers. That's what makes things work in rural Arizona, is people step up and help. But it takes leadership, and thank you, Mrs. Dumas, for your leadership, and things will go great. Thank you for
Yeah,
your report.
Yes.
We're gonna make it work. It'd be great, and what people need. So I do throw the invite out that if anybody has ideas or suggestions or things they need from their libraries, let me know. And if I can deal with it, I can, or I send it out to the other directors. But the other thing I would like to leave with this extremely positive note is everybody that I've had to work with at this county level has been phenomenal. So thank all of you for welcoming me and helping me. And I think we got a good thing going, so.
Excellent.
Thank you.
Thank you very
Thank you.
much. Have a
You're
great
welcome.
day.
We now go to agenda item 5, Bianca Castaneda, Election Director.
Let's have a PowerPoint I'd like to share. Let's try to share my screen.
This better be good, yeah.
Okay.
Oh.
It is. No pressure. Okay, so we had our primary election Tuesday, July 30th. It went very well. It was a smooth election. No major issues. The purpose for canvassing is to officially certify the election of the county. And the canvas will be broken down with federal, state, and local races of the overall totals, registered voters, ballots cast, and the voter turnout. We do have 4,552 registered voters. That total number of ballots that were cast were 1,312. Which is a 28.82% turnout. Out of those votes that were cast, 1,021 were early ballots. Our votes cast are in 3 groups. They're grouped by the early votes, election day votes, and provisional ballots, if any. Provisional ballots are ballots that need further review by our county recorder to confirm that that voter is eligible to vote. Our voter turnout was pretty low, most likely due to the very few contested races there were. There was no contested races for the Democratic Party. 2 contested races for the Republican Party, and that was the federal race, U.S. Senator and U.S. Representative in our district number 6. And those candidates with the most votes is declared the winner. We had our local contested race was the sheriff's race. That was the only contested race for the Republican Party. Dale Sloan received 45.92% of the votes. Tim Sumner received 47.71% of those votes. The remaining
43.7.
Yes, that.
Okay.
Thank you. And the remaining 10.73 of those votes were write-ins, but we didn't have any qualified write-in candidates for that race. We did a hand count. We had 8 precinct committee people from each party, the Republican Party and the Democratic Party, 4 members from each party that participated. And that hand count is to compare the results for the electronic votes, the machine votes, to the hand count, just to assure that the machines are working properly and accurately counting the votes. And it was completed successfully with 0 errors. We always thank everybody who participates. It takes a village to make elections possible. So I will say thank you 1,000 times to everybody who helps. Our co-workers, our reporter's office, who we work side by side with. Super grateful for them. Grateful for our poll workers, our board's office. We have a great team. They help tremendously. Public Works Department helping us move equipment, set up, take down. IT making sure our live stream, our website, our election night reporting have all the information that is needed. So again, thank you to everybody involved. It takes several people to make it possible. And with that, that is it. If you have any questions, or if not, we do have Sherry here too, if you want to add anything to that.
Good morning, Sherry Malhero, Green Lake County Recorder. Bianca's pretty much covered quite a bit of what I wanted to bring up, but I do want to point out that the Recorder's Office is responsible for just over 1,000 of those votes that came in. We bring them in through the early balloting process. We have to signature verify every single one of those envelopes that come in. And we did have quite a few people that we were signature verifying. So actually, I do want to thank the residents of Green Lake County who voted, because we had success in contacting every one of those that we had a questionable signature on. I also want to reiterate the thanks that Bianca has given. It really does take a lot of people, a lot of moving parts to make this successful. And I do believe that this election went rather smoothly for it being a primary, because there's so many more components in a primary than in the general. I specifically want to give thanks to my office, Dusty Pogue and Aaron Miller. They were crucial in getting all the ballots stuffed and mailed out. I also want to give thanks to Carolyn, who gave up weekends to work with us, since we have to work the weekend before and after the election. Susan from Public Works, because she was traveling with us to go pick up ballots from ballot boxes. So I want to give thanks to them, and then just reiterate that the primary is a lot more work than your typical like general election. There's so many more ballot styles that have to go out, all the different parties that are participating. Our office, as well as Bianca, she does a lot of prep work well in advance of the primary, but our office even more so, because we're already prepping to send ballots out 26 days before the election. And our office is an election site for 26 days up to the election. So a lot of that is thanks to my girls at the office that have done a great job. Again, the IT, Public Works, election side, we work really well together to make sure everything's run successfully. So thank you.
Thank you.
You know, I have a question about the 28+% of voter turnout. Is that, what was it last election?
I think it was just under 30% or 30, because
That's like PPE.
Were we the lowest in the state?
We were not, actually, in this election cycle, we were in the upper third. Voter turnout across the state was almost historically low. There were a few congressional districts where the races were really hotly contested, and the turnout there was higher, but I think the highest I saw was in the 30%. Highly partisan races, and in a lot of places around the state, there were either no contest, or like the Senate Republican race, the contest was pretty lopsided. And so it just didn't attract the voter participation that we've seen in other elections. But we were not by any means the lowest, which is unfortunate. Like I say, in Greeley County, the Democratic ballot had no contested races. So that's not completely shocking in that there was nothing to vote for. So.
Yeah, I'm sure it'll be different than general this year.
Yes, by contrast, the general will have contested races literally from top to bottom.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I mean, I just wanted to make a comment that I appreciate all the information, I'm glad that I think we all feel 100% confident that our elections are being run organized and are 100% accurate. I mean, that's just, I know that there's a lot of chatter about that in the world, but right here, I think we're doing a fantastic job. So great job to you. Great job to you, sure.
Mr. Chairman, if I might, one of the things that we had never done in the county before the 2022 election cycle was a hand count audit. And we weren't thrilled about that because it's a little extra work just after the election. But watching our citizens come in and prove that the machines are accurate has actually been pretty uplifting for the election folks that are in there and watch it happen. And it's one of those things where people who come in and participate go out and say, no, we counted it and it matched to the vote. And that's a very positive thing for election integrity, if you will. So while we didn't ask for that extra task, it's actually turned out to be a very positive thing.
Well, speaking from the board, thank you, Bianca. Thank you, Sherry. Thank you all involved. And thank you for keeping us out of the paper. I never want to be in the paper but it does. It takes a lot of people. And I don't think people realize how much work it is to put on an election and then to have it accurate. And I know when all the other deals, I was getting phone calls and they wanted to come and before the board and present. And I said I had confidence in our election. So anyway, with that, thank you. And we'll go to agenda item 6. Mr. Rapier, County Administrator.
Need a motion to.
Yeah, excuse me. Yeah, action.
Are you gonna call for a motion?
Would a motion would be in order for the canvas of the insert.
I so move that we approve the
Thank you.
campus.
I have it.
Oh, you have it. Oh, I have the other one.
Yeah.
Sorry, okay.
I move to officially accept and certify the results of the 2024 Greenlee County primary election as presented by the elections director, and to direct the elections director to provide these certified results to the Secretary of State and to place the local party nominees on the general election ballot.
And I second that motion.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, we'll proceed to vote. All those in favor of the motion, please indicate by saying aye. Aye. Motion passes. Thank you very, very much. We will now go to agenda item 6. Regarding the adoption of the fiscal year 2024-2025 tax rates. Mr. Rapier.
Thank you. I'll blow this very boring document up so you can see it. In short, what we do at this stage is ministerial. In other words, you have already adopted a tax rate for the county, the flood control district, and the public health services district. All of the other taxing jurisdictions in the county send their rates to us at the county. We assemble them on this tax sheet, otherwise known as the adopted levy book, or soon to be adopted levy book. But this is just taking what they give us, plugging it into our form, and then we, our treasurer then develops the tax bills based on this information. And then we distribute this information back out to, get that more centered, back out to the Property Tax Oversight Commission and the Department of Education, where some of the school taxes are derived. I will let you know we have had one ongoing discussion regarding the Blue School District and a tax that Property Tax Oversight Commission believes we should levy. We believe we should not levy. We're in ongoing discussions with the school superintendent's office. If by the 19th, which is the third Monday in August, we receive further action or further direction that we need to levy that tax, then we will ask for a special meeting just to adopt that tax. But we don't think we'll get there. So the tax rate sheet in front of you represents all of the taxing entities and the appropriate valuation, tax levy, and tax rate. So with that, that's pretty much all there is to it.
Why do they feel that we should levy that?
There's 2 years ago, there's a what they call a type 03 school district, which is an elementary school district within a larger district. An example might be Solomon, for example. They only do elementary school, but they have these in Tempe and Casa Grande and different places around the state. Those kids who originate from that district then go to a high school someplace. And it was determined that there wasn't a tax that was being levied to pay for that high school student. And so this was set up to tax property owners within the elementary school districts to pay for those high school students. Blue is unique in that it is called an elementary district, but it operates as a unified district. In other words, they educate all their students from K through 12. And right now they have several students who are high school students and they're educated within the district. So these students are not going out to some other district and imposing a cost on the district. And we didn't levy it last year. No one from the state thought we should. And then somebody changed or something changed. And so the school superintendent's office, Brian Bowling, has been working closely with the Department of Education and the Property Tax Oversight Commission because we really don't think. The other thing we discovered last week is that if this tax is levied, it would increase the tax rate or the tax levy by about 40% up there, and none of that money would stay in the county. It would likely go across school districts around the state.
Oh, wow.
So
How many students are up there? Do you know?
I don't know off the top of my head.
Say 10.
Yeah.
About 10-ish.
Yeah, and that's a number that's been fairly steady for several years. Many of them are now high school students as they've grown up through that district. And so, but that's the one thing we're still monitoring. We have time to correct it if we have to, but we believe we're on the right track. So the sheet you have in front of you is complete. It's the same sheet with new numbers, of course, that we adopt every year.
Okay, a motion, if there's no further discussion, a motion would be in order.
Okay, well, I so move to adopt the tax rates and the levies for all of the taxing jurisdictions in Greeley County as set forth in the fiscal year 2024, 2025. Assessed valuation, tax levies, and tax rates as presented.
And I'll second that.
Yeah, motion and a second. Is there further discussion? Seeing none, we'll proceed to vote. All those in favor of the motion, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion passes. Thank you very, very much. And once again, I thank all involved that set tax rates and have work with the budget. What an enormous task that is, and the elected officials, the department heads, staff, and certainly to you, Derek, and your staff, thank you for that. It's always good to get it over. And once again, we lowered the rate just a little bit, and that's always good. But thank you. With that, we'll go to agenda item 7. County and state budget legislative issues, and then Bianca, clerk of the board, with the calendar and events.
With respect to the legislature, the analysis are all starting to come out now about who's going to win the general election, because apparently we can't just wait and see what happens. We have to guess what's going to happen. But as a result, people are taking different postures on what goals they will try to pursue in next legislative session based on whether it is a Democratic legislature, a split legislature, evenly divided, or a Republican legislature. We know the governor will not change, and she has made very clear she's gathered money. She's making all effort to try and change the legislature, both chambers, to Democrat-controlled chambers. Most people seem to think at this point that it's likely there may be a split 15-15 in the Senate, but it's unlikely the Democrats will overcome the obstacles in the House. But we'll have an election in November to find out. With that, obviously in October, there'll be the CSA Legislative Summit where CSA will set its legislative agenda. At this point, we don't have any particular legislative agenda on Greeley County's behalf. Depending on the outcome of the property tax thing I just explained to you, we may go and try and get a fix with respect to that language. There's only about 4 or 5 schools in the state that have this unique situation, but we will work with the school and school superintendent's office if we do. Other than that, there's really nothing new out of the legislature at this point. Bunch of wait and see.
Okay, any questions? Thank you. If not. Bianca?
We do have, a couple of dates to consider. For rescheduling, we'll go ahead and, bring those up. After I discuss the calendar. Today our board meeting, tomorrow county managers. The 10th, there is the Greeley County Showdown for 4-H. I didn't put the time on that.
It's at 8, it starts at 8 o'clock. Thank you. And we're looking forward. I've been out there to the new facilities. Really nice, guys.
Next week is the Seago Council on the 16th Friday. Looks like Greenlee County is hosting that.
Actually be
That's a
hosted
board
in Greeley.
And
In
it's a
Greeley
board
County.
meeting.
It's a board meeting. It'll be hosted by the town of Clifton.
No, Duncan.
Oh, Duncan.
Yeah.
Duncan has it.
Remember you verified that with
Very good.
the new executive director. It's at town hall. It's at town
Town
hall.
hall, yeah.
Yeah.
But it's a board meeting and you're right, it's hosted in Greenlee County, but not by us this time.
Okay, I'll make all those changes. The 17th is a cattle growers meeting, at 10. Our next board meeting, is on the 20th, and then WIFA on the 21st. So we did go ahead and cancel the 12th meeting,
Yes.
since you guys canvassed the election today, so no meeting on the 12th. September 2nd, our offices are closed. Due to Labor Day. Our first board meeting in September is the 4th. County managers on the 13th. September 17th, we have it scheduled for our board. We have our board meeting scheduled for the 17th. I know we were talking about changing that.
If I might break in here real quick, County Supervisors Association comes and does their annual presentation, legislative wrap up and so forth. And they're scheduled to present in Graham County on the 16th and asked if we could move our meeting to accommodate essentially a day trip to get back to the valley on that day. I visited with the county manager in Graham County yesterday. They are very willing to work with us and suggested they do their presentation in the morning at around 9 o'clock, be done by 10. CSA staff will be back up here by 11 or noon. And we could then host a small luncheon and then we could either begin our meeting at 1 o'clock or then begin our meeting, but we would do it essentially an afternoon meeting. My proposal would be that we officially post our meeting for 1 o'clock that day. Have CSA present early in our meeting and then let them get back on the road back to the valley would be my suggestion for that.
Yeah, so that works for me. I'll be in Phoenix on Monday, but.
And you'll
I
be
can
able to
it
make the
back.
what?
I think I can make it.
Okay.
So we made it as an afternoon meeting after all.
It's at 1.
Yes.
One.
Is there a conflict? I mean,
No,
I know we
no,
were,
No,
I think we
I
make
thought
that work.
maybe we could get it done before they came in, but that's fine.
Yeah, I
We
don't
had
know.
too many things to juggle, including
well,
one of our.
and have them first on the agenda and let them present, then they
Yeah.
can.
Right.
Okay,
And we'll
They
work
can-
with CSA staff to get all the logistics done on that.
Take a little recess because they generally like a picture or two.
Yeah,
so that's it for the 16th.
Right.
Make those changes on the calendar.
Yes, please.
September 18th, Wednesday, small counties and Greeley will be hosting that, but not in Greeley County. ECO and WIFA on Wednesday, the 19th, CSA at 10, and then our county fair starts the 19th Thursday through the 22nd, which is Sunday. That is all I have for you.
Yeah, they,
October. If the CSA summit is 7th through the 9th. We do have our board meetings scheduled for the 8th and Monday, the 14th. With that and Eco on the 16th, and I know CSA doesn't have, they're not scheduled, just depending on the summit.
And if we
so
could
that
clarify,
eight, yeah, that
the
eight,
eighth was set there originally because of the WIR
Right.
fall board meeting, which you are no longer on the WIR. Our proposal is to move the 8th up a week to the 1st of October. And we can't remember exactly why back in December of last year, why we set the 14th, the Monday meeting. And perhaps one of you have something on your calendar, but we're proposing
I
to
don't.
move the 14th onto Tuesday, the 15th. So the 2 October meetings would be the 1st and the 15th. At our regular times. I'm sure we had a good reason 9 months ago, but as we went through, and it may have been nothing more than a typo on our part. But if those work for you, then we can make those calendar adjustments.
Yeah, so the first and the 15th.
Yes.
is,
Is that good with the board?
yeah. Is Columbus Day, okay, it's
We-
not.
we
and
moved that to
just
take the
one-
day-
Thanksgiving.
Right, we take it the day after Thanksgiving, so that the county's off Thursday, Friday, Saturday.
Okay. Thank you.
That's why we.
Well, and yeah.
Day, because we're not gonna be here.
I would be here, David. All right. Anything else?
That's all I have. I'll make all those changes, but that is all I have.
Yeah, you're going to
I
the
don't have
category.
anything.
Yeah.
Good. Okay,
Do you wanna go?
so thank you very much, Bianca and Derek. We now go to agenda item 8, consent agenda.
So we approve the consent agenda as posted.
I'll second that.
We have a motion second. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, we'll proceed to vote. All those in favor of the motion, please indicate by saying aye. Aye, motion passes. Now go,
I want to make a comment on some of these items. on
okay, go
the consent
ahead.
Agenda. As I proposed some time ago about these new folks that we hire on, that those department heads come bring them in and introduce them to us. I don't like the idea of meeting somebody out in the field and finding out they work for the county and I don't know who they are. So that's something I've asked for a couple of years now and it's not happening.
I've extended that invitation again, just as late as about about 6 weeks ago. And I'll send the invitation out again. I know that they're busy doing the things that they do, but I will extend the invitation again.
I just think it's the right thing to do. You know, some of these folks, they don't know who they are, but you see them out in the street or even here in the building, or you see them out in the field and stuff, and it's nice to know who they are. So, I mean, you know, it's just,
I agree.
okay, thank you.
Okay, with that, we'll go to agenda item 9, supervisor reports. Ron?
I don't have anything for this meeting.
I don't either.
Okay, well, they're already, I know it seems like early, but I know Representative Griffin called me and wants to run some ideas on legislation, and I'm sure it has to do with water. Other than that, things are going full bore over there in Phoenix. It seems like with the election, there is a lot of excitement and positioning and understand that, here we are, we don't even know what the makeup of the Senate or the House gonna be, and there's already positioning for leadership over there, so. But it's interesting to watch the different parts move and I've feel privileged in some ways that people include me in some of their conversations. And with that, that's my report. There being no other business to come before the board, this meeting's adjourned. Good luck.